Good afternoon and welcome. My name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and we're talking here about how do you stay focused when prospecting. I'm taking some of the content from my book, A Mind for Sales. I'm taking some of the content from my book, High Profit Prospecting, and I'm taking some of the content from my master class that's out there right now, Identifying Your Customer Profile. In other words, who is your ideal customer profile? It's a masterclass I've gotten. Hey, what I want to do is I want to walk you through right here some of the elements. And like I said, this is staying focused when prospecting. And people ask me all the time, Mark, it's easy for you to talk about it because you don't spend time prospecting. Well, excuse me. This morning, I spent more than 2 hours prospecting. Yes, I was dialed in, focused. And I was focused. And why was I focused? Because I'm going to share with you some of the techniques and some of the strategies I used and I use to stay absolutely focused. Now, again, all this content is in our new masterclass. We've been named as one of the top 10 sales development online programs. And I can't strongly recommend it enough. I want you to jump out there. I'll put the URL up here in just a bit that you can go to. But here's the deal. There are a tremendous amount of programs that you can jump to, and they're all right there. And the idea being is that I want you to become the best salesperson you can be. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the stuff. I want to ask you this question. Are you focused on the right prospects? Now, one of the things that I challenge, and I was talking with a salesperson this morning, and I had this conversation. I said, because this salesperson knows who their ICP is, and they're having success. And I said, okay, now, can you dial down even more? You see, when I'm working with top performing salespeople, what I do is I say, after you've identified who your ideal customer profile is, you narrow it down even more. And this person is in the process. And this is what I did. This is why I was able to stay focused making all my calls. And you say, Mark, how successful were you? Well, let me tell you something. I made, I believe, 14 or 15 calls, and I only had one conversation. I only had one conversation. I left some dynamite voicemails. Now, this was interesting. 2 of those people have already called me back. Why? Because I'm focused on the right prospect. I can't stress this enough. You see, I don't have names I'm prospecting. I have physical, identifiable people and companies that I know I can make a significant difference with. This is where I spend my time. This is so key. It's interesting. I was talking with another salesperson this morning, and he was saying how their company is challenged because they don't have a clear ICP. And as a result, as a salesperson, he's challenged with calling and reaching out to all kinds of different people. And they're just not able to be successful. And again, I stress that continuously. Hey, good evening from South Africa. Love having viewers and listeners from all over the world. Terrific to have you part of this. And regardless of where you are in the world, you have to be spot on with who your ideal customer is. And then as you fill your pipeline, you begin, now, how do you know who your ideal is? You begin looking at who have you been talking to in the past. And you see this salesperson I was talking to that he says, we're struggling as a company because we don't have a clear ICP, is because they haven't taken the effort to do a deep dive to understand what are the outcomes. And when you understand the outcomes, you see, here's the whole thing. I was able to leave with every one of these people I called this morning, very, very meaningful voicemails that were targeted to them. And you see, what it simply came down to was I was able to engage the prospect. You see, your messages, whether they be email, whether they be voicemail, however, they can't be general in nature. Hi, I'm here to help you. No, it has to be absolutely specific. There was one that I reached out to. Well, I couldn't get the right phone number, no matter what I did. So but I had the person's email. But the email was very specifically addressed to a specific need that this person and this organization that he works for is dealing with. And I'm going to venture to say that there's probably a 50% chance I get a response back from that. Cold. Cold. This person I have not talked to in probably 3 or 4 years. Yeah. But as I was going through my ICP and getting it absolutely focused, that's what I was finding. That's what I was finding. You see, your process is everything. Thank you, David, for jumping in. Process is everything. And when you know it, it's amazing how it allows you to be more focused. One of the challenges that I think salespeople have here is they have a hard time engaging because they just don't know what to say. You see, by understanding who your ICP is, in fact, this afternoon, I'm going to be making some more calls. And again, very specific against a very tight niche. And I've got very specific messages I'm going to be able to leave for each person. What does that do? It gives me a tremendous amount more confidence. And as a result of being more confident, I am able to stay focused because I'm in the moment. You see, what happens is people fall out because they're not focused. People fall out because they lack confidence. People fall out because they just don't feel they're successful. Like I said, I was getting mostly voicemails this morning. And I could sit there and say, wow, I'm not successful. You know what, though? I feel absolutely confident that when I do another call, I'm going to call these people back again in a few days or a week or so, depending on who they are. I will move them further and further along to where they become clients of mine. And I've always got more content on them. You see, it doesn't take me long to get content. And the reason it doesn't take me long is because I stay very tightly focused. See, so one thing, for instance, I apologize, I just bumped the camera. One of the things is I do work in the transportation arena. And I saw an article out online this morning. And I have used that article with 3 of my phone calls. Hey, wanted to call your attention to an article on this. Call me, love to get your feedback on it. Now, it's very specific to them. Now, if I don't hear back from them within another hour, I'm going to send them a link to that article. Now, I'm not always a big fan of sending links, but for each of these people, I have had a little bit of communication with them. They're not clients of mine, but I've had a little bit of communication with them, so I know it's going to go through. But now, what's going to happen? They're going to receive that email. Wow, he is talking about me. He is talking about my needs. And as a result, they're going to be much more inclined to pick up the phone and call me back, or minimally take my call next time I call them, because I'm talking about their world. You see, what's very interesting is customers will talk to people who are in their world. They don't want to talk to people who are not in their world. This is the big challenge we have. See, so my whole focus is I want to make sure that I'm engaging my prospect. Now, here's the other piece that you really have to stop and ask yourself this question. Am I keeping it tight by staying focused and disciplined? Now, here's where I'm going with this. I've already been talking about focused, but am I disciplined? The discipline is in the repetition. And go back to what David made the comment on in terms of having a process. He's thrown up another question. Let me go ahead and put it up here. Define if ICP is good, do something. If not, leave. Park it for a while. Spot on, David. Your ICP is your ideal customer profile. And see, I know my ICP works because this is a very tight focus that I've been getting a lot of revenue from for a long time. And my discipline is I'm able to keep coming back. You see, I stay absolutely disciplined with my repeat messages, with the frequency with which I come back to them with. Now, don't sit there and say, oh, Mark, our system, oh yeah, we follow up. Yeah, but following up by saying checking in. And now that's something you do at a hotel. Following up by saying, did you see my previous email? That's not following up. Following up is by bringing a new message of relevance to them. This individual that I didn't have the phone number for, that I sent them an email. You know what's interesting? I know of at least 4 more emails, 4 more very tight emails that I can send this person. So even though I don't have that person's phone number, I'm going to wind up getting them. I'm going to wind up getting them on the phone, and they are going to become my client. Now, this is great. We got a great question here. Discipline, time management, power, hours, time. Blocking is key to be efficient with your time. And I want to call that out for a second. On my calendar, you're going to see I use Outlook. It integrates with my CRM, Zoho. And what I do here is I have different colors for different activities. And I don't miss those activities. You see, I have to be absolutely geared in. And before I end today, I will look at what's on tap for tomorrow. And again, I'm going to be very, very focused on it. You see, every phone call I made today, I knew exactly what I was going to be saying because they're in my ICP. I've done my homework. See, I'm focused and I have discipline. Prospecting is not hard because here's the other piece. It really is about bringing new value each time. Each time I reach out to this person I sent the email to today. Like I said, I have 4 more messages, very distinct, very different. So that's 5 messages in total. Each one of the voicemails I left, absolutely very, very different. And I'm able to be incredibly specific. Now, what does this mean? This means each time I call them, I'm bringing new value. You see, here's the thing. There have been prospects that I know I can help. And they're in my ICP, my ideal customer profile. And again, this is the masterclass that we're offering, and I really want you to grab it. If you haven't grabbed the ICP masterclass, use the URL there, learn.thesaleshunter.com. Go out and grab it, get enrolled in them. Take a look at everything that's out there in the university. It's amazing. But what does it allow you to do? It allows you to be incredibly focused and motivated. And that takes me to my next piece, which really what it comes down to is the fact that it starts with you and your own mindset. You see, one of the biggest reasons I'm able to stay focused is because I know I can help these people. See, to me, each call I'm making is not drudgery. Each call I'm making, and every day I'm making calls to people who I've never talked to before. But they line up to the research I've done in my ICP, and I know I can help them. This absolutely juices me and gives me a tremendous amount of motivation to say I want to reach out to them. Does it become a game? Yes, I admit it becomes a game. Salespeople are competitive. But here's the thing. Think about being competitive. Don't you want to be competitive in a game or a sport that you feel you have a good chance in? Yes. That's why it's the ICP. I had another conversation. Like I said, I spend all day on the phone, either coaching people, working with people, making prospecting calls. I had a conversation this morning with another gentleman who was coming at me from marketing and saying, in our organization, we don't have clarity in terms of who's really responsible for leads. And I pushed back and I said, do you even have clarity as to who your ICP is? Do you even have clarity as to who your ideal customer is, who your ideal client is? And I don't think they do. You see, what I'll challenge any organization with, and if you're in sales and you get marketing leads, I want you to put your marketing leads through a filter and say, how closely do they line up to your ICP? And if they don't line up to at least 65% of the profile of your ICP, you don't want to waste time on them. Throw them back to marketing. You see, those are really not even MQL. In order for them to be SQL, sales qualified leads, you have to be absolutely sure that they fit your ideal customer profile. Hey, question wants to know, how do you, in dealing with gatekeepers and assistants? Hey, great question. You know, what's interesting is I actually answered that more in the earlier video I did, and you go out to my YouTube channel, you can find it there. But I'm going to spend a minute or two talking about that here in just a second. So hang with me. I'll talk about this whole thing because gatekeepers assistants play in very well into your ICP. But what does it come down to? When I know I can make a difference, I will. So, okay, how does this play with gatekeepers? How does this play with assistants? Here's the whole thing. Gatekeepers and assistants are charged with one thing: keeping you away. Well, not keeping you away, keeping salespeople away. So they are charged with blocking they're just doing their job. But they will let through anybody who they believe can bring value, can answer questions, can help them, the person, their company, whoever it is, whoever they're being the gatekeeper assistant to. They'll do that. So again, what I found is the tighter the ICP I have, the better off I am in being able to get around gatekeepers. And don't view them as gatekeepers, view them as door openers and assistants. Assistants in particular, now think about this. You're calling somebody, and I've had this happen many, many times. You're calling an assistant, and they can sniff out salespeople a mile away. That's why they're in the job that they're in. That's why they do what they do. And I love what they do. You see, but if you challenge them, not challenge them, but ask them a question, bring them a statement, very relevant to their specific industry, to their specific company, to their specific world, they're going to say, this person knows something. Now, will they pass you through on the first attempt? Probably not. They might, and if they do, congratulations. But what they will do is they're going to make a mental note. So if I sit there and I come back several more times and I keep delivering different messages of value to them very specifically, you see, let me do full disclosure. The article I said I saw this morning and I was using with several clients it was on CNBC.com. And it was how Uber had purchased another transportation technology company. Very, very, transportation logistics, very, very relevant to other players that work in that transportation logistics space, wherever they are in the food chain. That was the link. That was the talking point for those people I had in that transportation segment. And believe me, I'm excited to share that with them because it literally just happened this morning and I wanted to be the first one to share the news. See, think about this for a moment. Because I'm very tight on my ICP, because I'm very tight with my messaging, I can stay focused and I stay disciplined. And my mindset is spot on because I know I can make a difference. I challenge salespeople. If you're struggling with this, what to do is this. Take 15 minutes before you start work and scour the internet and look for news and information that's going to help educate you about your ICP, about customers in your ICP, whether it be news sites, whether it be industry sites, whether it be Google Alerts, whatever. Spend 15 minutes. There's two things that happen to this, and this is going to help you with your mindset. One, you are going to wind up gaining insights and knowledge that's going to make you more confident. Absolutely terrific. Absolutely terrific. You're also going to gain potential talking points that you can use. Because now we'll say you get into a conversation with somebody. You can sit there and say, you know what, I just saw on the internet this morning this. And wow, what do they do? They see you as part of them. You see, they see you. I built an Uber. It's called fixedpricedelivery.com. Hey, thank you, David. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to check that URL out when we get done here. Much appreciated, because we may need to be talking. Yes, yes. You see, here's the whole thing. You know your ICP, so suddenly David shared something that might be of relevance to some of my clients and potential clients in the transportation area. See, here's the other thing about being really with your mindset and staying focused and everything. If you're dealing with prospects, that are in your ICP, and you already have clients in your ICP, think of all this knowledge that you're gaining. Think of all this knowledge that you've already got that you can share. Now, I never say to share proprietary information. Never share anything proprietary. But what do you have? What do you have? You have talking points. You have engagement points. It really comes down, the way you stay focused in prospecting is by being clear as to your ideal customer profile and staying very tight in that lane. Now, what I really want you to do is I really want you to jump out. I want you to get the ICP Prospecting Masterclass. It's ideal customer profile. The URL is there on the screen, because I'll tell you what, everything we have in the Sales Hunter University is amazing. We're getting comments back. We got 3 different, there's all kinds of different levels you can pick from if you want to go beyond the masterclass. But here's what it comes down to: a tremendous amount of content. In fact, in the ICP masterclass, and this is going to be kind of hard to see here as soon as I get it pulled up here. There it is. Whoops. Let me back up here. My clicker is not quite working right. It's always amazing when you do things live. Why isn't this? There it is. These are all the things, and I know you can't see it, but it's a list of things that you get. The videos, the workbooks, the talking points, everything that you get in this ICP masterclass. We've had a number of people who have already been going through it. They've been grabbing it. They love it, and it's helping them tremendously. Here's the whole thing. I have one focus in life: to help people sell more. And you sell more by being dialed in, not trying to sell to everybody in the world, just by selling to the specific people who you know you can make a difference with. You see, sales is about helping others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. That's what it is. That's really what it comes down to. Sales is not a job. It's not a profession. Sales is a lifestyle. I love what I do. I absolutely love picking up the phone and making those calls. And I want you to be in that same boat. Hey, it's all there in the Sales Hunter University. I want you to check it out. Check out my other videos out on YouTube. Leave me a comment on this, would you please? And really what I want you to do is I want you to really become the salesperson you know you can be in 2021 and set yourself up for winning even bigger in 2022. Hey, my name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the university. Great selling.